On a fine summer's day in 1680, the Battle of Altimarlach took place near Wick in Caithness, between the Campbells and the Sinclairs. It was the last battle to be fought in the county. George Sinclair, 6th Earl of Caithness, had sold his lands and titles to John Campbell of Glenorchy between 1661 and 1672 to help pay his debts, with Glenorchy having use of the Sinclair name as one of the conditions of the sale. George Sinclair of Keith, however, stated some of the lands he'd secured belonged to him and that he should be the Earl. The dispute went to court, where the justiciary found in favour of Glenorchy, meaning Sinclair had no claim to the title. Sinclair ignored the ruling, and Glenorchy found it difficult to collect rents from the disputed lands. Sinclair also had the castle at Thurso East, owned by Glenorchy, demolished, with the help of his two loyal supporters, David Sinclair of Broinach and William Sinclair of Thura. Many people in the county supported Sinclair, as they viewed the new Earl with contempt. In November 1679, an Act of Parliament was passed for Glenorchy to recover the disputed lands, with the aid of his friends and followers. The following summer, he'd amassed 700 men. Sinclair got wind of the Campbells' arrival at Braemore and amassed a group of around 800 followers. These were not trained soldiers, but loyal followers, many of whom were old. With no tactical background, it wasn't looking good for Sinclair. However, he did have one ace up his sleeve. His friend William Sinclair of Thura had served in the army and had risen to the rank of major. An agreement was made between Sinclair and Glenorchy to meet in a field near Stircoke, but knowing his men were exhausted from the long march from Braemore to Wick, he declined the invitation and withdrew his men to Yarrows. Thinking they had won without a shot being fired or a sword being lifted, the Sinclairs retired to Wick, where they drank the day away. Meanwhile, Glenorchy ordered his men to remain sober and vigilant in case of a sudden attack. While the watchmen kept an eye on the area, the others slept, and when they woke the next morning, were refreshed and ready for battle. At around 8 a.m. on the morning of the 13th of July, his men marched over the Wick River, just below Sibster. Word soon spread to Sinclair's men, and recovering from the night before, made their way unsteadily to meet the Campbells. Originally, Glenorchy wanted the battle to commence at Keith, but when he saw the Sinclairs, he mustered 500 men in readiness and told the remainder to hide. The Sinclairs were unaware of the ambush as they made their way to higher ground, which meant their enemy was boxed in between them and the river. Glenorchy gave the signal to attack, and the ferocity of the barefooted Campbells was unleashed on the Sinclairs. As the Sinclairs retreated towards the Altimarlach burn, the ambush took place, and the men were slaughtered. Sinclair of Keith and Sinclair of Thura, as well as other leaders, were on horses, and when they realised the battle was lost, fled the scene. Bodies lay in the field, and many were lying in the burn itself, blood turning the water red. It was a humiliating defeat for the Sinclairs. For some time after the battle, Glenorchy quartered his troops in the area, collected his rents without fuss, and levied taxes. The Scottish ballad "The Campbells Are Coming" by Finlay MacIvor, Glenorchy's piper, commemorates the battle, and on the day itself it's said he played Lord Breadalbane's March for the first time. If you enjoyed this episode of Scotland's History, please like, comment and subscribe. Until next time, thank you for watching.